We don't want to be here anymore. We're done.
So is he asking you to, like, kill him? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for a while. And I can't get him to stop breathing. He is going to be 18 tomorrow, but he didn't want to turn 18.
This boy never got the chance to turn 18 because his own mother made sure of that. Just hours before he was supposed to step into adulthood, she picked up the phone and called 911. But instead of crying for help, she delivered a chilling statement, and that is she couldn't get him to stop breathing. Most mothers would fight tooth and nail to keep their child alive. But this one, she did the exact opposite. And it makes you wonder, what kind of mother does something so unthinkable? And how did it come to this? To even try to understand how this all happened, we have to go back to where it started, to a quiet little apartment complex that, by all accounts, should have been just another ordinary place to live. Bayo Apartments, sitting at 791 East 16th Street in Holland, Michigan. A place meant to be a home, a safe haven. A spot where people came back after a long day, kicked off their shoes, and settled into the comfort of their lives. The Bay Point Apartments community wasn't just some run-down complex. It featured 1- and 2-bedroom units, along with 2-bedroom lofts. Residents had access to central heating and air conditioning, washer and dryer hookups in select apartments, and even a large swimming pool to cool off in the summer. It was a pet-friendly place too. Cats and dogs were welcome, adding to the sense of home for those who lived there. On the surface, it was just another suburban apartment complex, the kind of place where people went about their business without too much drama. And among those residents were Katie Lee and her son, Austin Picard. Just a small family trying to make it through life like everyone else. From the outside, they seemed normal enough. Austin was a quiet, intelligent teenager with a deep love for books, science, and video games. He wasn't the kind of kid who got into trouble. If anything, he was the opposite. Smart, reserved, a bit of a dreamer. And Katie, she was a single mother who had spent years raising him on her own. Life wasn't easy, but they had each other. Neighbors didn't see anything too out of the ordinary. They weren't a loud, troublesome family. They kept to themselves, blended into the background of their small Michigan town. If you passed them on the street, you probably wouldn't have thought twice. But behind closed doors, where no neighbors could see, where no friendly hellos could catch the truth, something was brewing. Something dark. Something no one saw coming. For years, Austin and his mom had an unusually close relationship. Some might even say it was too close. Friends recall that Katie was overprotective, treating Austin like a child even as he inched closer to adulthood. She had a hard time letting go, clinging to him like he was all she had in the world. At first, Austin didn't seem to mind his mother's tight grip on his life. But as he got older, things changed. He wanted freedom. Independence. He wanted to make his own choices. He was on the verge of turning 18, officially an adult, free to do whatever he pleased. When police arrived at the Bayo apartment complex, they found a scene straight out of a nightmare. Austin was dead. His throat had been slashed, and he had multiple stab wounds on his arms, wounds that, according to experts, looked suspiciously like defensive wounds. As if he had fought back. As if he hadn't wanted to die. Katie, standing at the doorway with a knife still in her hands, didn't resist arrest. But she didn't surrender easily either. She allegedly made a threatening move toward the officers, forcing them to deploy a taser before taking her into custody. Once she was down, she reportedly told investigators she had hoped the police would kill her so she could be with her son. Then the details got even darker. According to police reports, Katie and Austin had attempted to take their own lives together by overdosing on medication the previous day. But when Austin passed out and the overdose failed, Katie took matters into her own hands, literally. She grabbed a knife and slashed his throat while he lay unconscious. A brutal, irreversible act. The most baffling part of this case isn't just that a mother murdered her son, it's why she claimed she did it. According to Katie, Austin didn't want to turn 18. He was afraid of adulthood, of growing up. He couldn't handle the idea of becoming an adult. But let's be real here, how many teenagers actually feel this way? Sure, some fear the responsibilities that come with adulthood, but let's not pretend turning 18 is some kind of death sentence. For most kids, that milestone is something to celebrate. It means freedom. It means being able to buy a lottery ticket, legally get a tattoo, vote, maybe even move out on their own. If Katie's claims were true, it would mean Austin had been suicidal. But was he? Had he actually begged his mother to help him stop breathing? Or was this just her twisted way of justifying the unthinkable? And even if he had been feeling suicidal, why wouldn't a mother seek help for her child instead of taking matters into her own hands? Why wouldn't she do everything in her power to prevent his death rather than cause it? 4 days later, Katie Lee appeared in court. Her face was stained with tears, and she could barely contain her sobs as she sat before the judge. Her shoulders shook uncontrollably, her body trembling as though the weight of everything had finally crashed down on her. For the entire 10-minute hearing, she wept, gasping between sobs, her emotions so raw that it almost seemed like she was just now realizing what she had done. But if she thought her tears would earn her sympathy, she was gravely mistaken. Judge Bradley Null was unmoved. His expression remained hard, unreadable, and his decision was swift and absolute: no bond. Katie wouldn't be walking free anytime soon. Perhaps it was the right call, considering her behavior when officers first arrived at the scene. She hadn't just cooperated meekly when they found her. No. She had allegedly threatened them, her grief and anger manifesting as violence. A knife still in her hands, she hadn't wanted to let go of it. She hadn't wanted to surrender. And now here she was, her fate slipping further and further out of her control. Even in court, her defiance hadn't disappeared entirely. She resisted the public defender's office, refusing legal representation at first, as though she could take on this case alone. But reality wasn't something she could ignore. After several minutes of back and forth, of whispered conversations and quiet pleas from those trying to help her, she finally gave in. With a hollow nod, she agreed to let them assign her a public defender. But the real shock of the day wasn't Katie's sobs, nor was it the judge's unwavering stance. But her troubles don't end there. On top of the murder charge, she's also facing a charge of resisting and obstructing an officer. When police arrived at the scene, she allegedly waved a knife at them, her behavior erratic and aggressive. It was as if she had no intention of making things easy, not for herself, not for law enforcement, not for anyone. No official trial date has been set yet. But when it does happen, it won't just be another case for the books. This trial will be something people won't forget. It will be a long, painful process for everyone involved: Austin's friends, who are still trying to make sense of his sudden and brutal death, his extended family who now have to live with a nightmare they never imagined, and even the outsiders, the true crime followers who consume these cases daily but still find themselves shaken by this one. Because no matter how many stories we hear about parents killing their children, this one feels different. This one feels personal. And the biggest question remains: why? Why did Katie Lee do this? What could possibly make a mother take her own child's life? The explanation she allegedly gave, that Austin didn't want to live past 17, is chilling. It's the kind of statement that makes you pause, that makes you wonder if you heard it correctly. There is no known history of suicidal thoughts. No evidence has surfaced that suggests he struggled with depression. No close friends or relatives have come forward to say that he had been unhappy. If anything, Austin's future seemed bright. He loved science. He loved space. He had dreams and aspirations, ideas of who he wanted to become. So why would he suddenly wish to throw all of that away? And then there's the possibility of money. Follow the money, that's what investigators always say. Did she have a life insurance policy on Austin? Could there have been something to gain financially from his death? Nothing has been confirmed yet, but it's a question worth asking. People have killed for far less. If Katie stood to benefit financially, then suddenly this case takes on an even darker edge. Or was the answer something even more terrifying? Was mental illness at play? Did she suffer from delusions? Did she believe she was saving Austin? There have been cases before where people, often suffering from severe psychological disorders, convince themselves that killing their loved ones is an act of mercy. Did Katie truly believe Austin was better off dead? Did she think she was doing him a favor? And what about drugs? Could she have been under the influence? Drug use can explain erratic behavior, paranoia, aggression. But here's the most horrifying part: no toxicology reports have been mentioned, which means that, as of now, there is no evidence that Katie was high when she did this. And that makes it so much worse. Because if she wasn't in some drug-induced haze, if she wasn't under the influence of anything, then that means she did it completely sober. It means she made this choice with a clear mind. Perhaps one of the most disturbing aspects of this entire case is the reaction from Katie's family. How does one rationalize standing by a family member after something like this? How do you look at a woman who has done something so unspeakable and still say, "We love you"? Is it denial? A refusal to accept reality? Or is it something deeper, a kind of unconditional love that defies logic? Some families cut ties immediately, unable to stomach the betrayal. Others cling to the past, unable to let go of the person they once knew. But at some point, reality has to set in. At some point, they will have to ask themselves, if Katie Lee could do this to Austin, who's to say she wouldn't have done it to someone else? Who's to say she wouldn't do it again? The remaining family is doing everything they can to keep Austin's memory alive. They even created a GoFundMe in his honor, hoping to give him the kind of send-off he deserves. The organizer, Elisa Picard, didn't go into details about what really happened, but one thing is clear: they want the world to remember Austin for the bright, loving person he was, not the way his life ended. She described him as caring, funny, and full of life. He loved his family and friends more than anything. But if there was one thing that truly fascinated him, it was space. Galaxies. Planets. The unknown. He loved it all. And now, his family has come up with a plan that feels almost poetic. Instead of a traditional burial, they want to send his ashes into space on an actual rocket ship. It's the kind of farewell that matches his dream, making sure that even in death, he reaches for the stars. Of course, losing someone like this isn't just emotionally devastating. It comes with financial struggles too. Funerals, memorials, and everything in between add up fast. Elisa said that some people have already reached out asking how they can help, and honestly, the best way right now is through donations. Every little bit helps as they work toward their goal of celebrating Austin's life the way he would have wanted. So far, the GoFundMe has raised over $6,000, but they're hoping to reach $12,000. It's not just about money, it's about giving Austin a proper goodbye. One that honors the person he was. Meanwhile, Katie Lee is sitting in jail, facing some of the most serious charges imaginable. Open murder, resisting an officer. No bond. She's not going anywhere anytime soon. And if she's convicted, Michigan law could put her away for life. Thank you for watching.